What's going on, people? So if you saw the beginning of the video that I recorded before this one, I can't necessarily say it'll be the one that was uploaded before this one, but either way, the video that I recorded before this one, I had opened up this box from Nike, had 2 pairs of Air Maxes in it. So that was the first one. This right here is the second one, right? So let's go ahead and get these things opened up, see what we're looking at and all that good stuff. Man, this looks big for some reason. I don't know why. You ever look at something like a pair of shoes or whatever and you think it just doesn't seem like the right size? Something about it just seems a little off. That's kind of how I felt looking at these for the first time. Then I also felt some sorrow on account of this little blemish up here. But whatever, I'm not one to complain too much or whatever. I don't like that it's going on down there or whatever. But at the end of the day, how many times am I really going to wear these? I have 17 pairs of shoes or something like that, so wearing all of them regularly just doesn't really happen. So that's why I don't really complain when things don't look how I want them to. They're not all flawless and pristine, right? It is what it is. But anyway, so what color is this? Was it Kumquat and Pomegranate? Okay, whatever. Let's go ahead and knock out this review on these right here. Like I said, this is the Air Max Pre-Day in Kumquat and Pomegranate. Weird, right? Whatever. So before we getting all into this, right? The one thing I will say is that I was not quite on board with this look because it seemed weird from the pictures. But now that I look at it, it's still... Maybe if I look at it long enough, it won't look weird. We'll see what happens. Anyways, down across the bottom, right? So what you're looking at down there, this seems to be probably the standard Air Max outsole that you'll see on a pair of these. I don't know if it is or not, but I will say that it looks very plain and very cheap, right? It looks very generic. Just, I don't know what to say about all that, but I'm guessing it made sense. Anyways, moving on up here to this midsole, right? So midsole, you got this big air bubble thing going on the back, which kind of reminds me of, I think it was the Dawn. I think that's the last thing that I reviewed or whatever. And then in the front area, you just got some sort of foam going on, right? So that's cool. It's got that sort of mouthguard type of look going on again. And then as you get to the back, you've got just kind of this weird slope and whatnot going on. So I don't know. It's an odd look, but hopefully it's good comfort. We'll see later though. Now, this whole shoe overall, right? As you can see, not a whole lot of flash or flare to it, at least not this particular one. And probably not any of them. I can't really see any of these really standing out because just the way the materials are and the overall look of it, I feel like they're all just going to be this standard old school style running type vibe or whatever. But it seems to work in a lot of cases, right? But anyway, so I say all that just to get you some pictures and whatnot. So now we can get into the details and we can see what all is going on down in here, right? So down here, toe box area, right? So lining around here, you got this pretty nice feeling little felt type nubuck or whatever this is. Maybe it's suede, I don't really know, but it feels nice. I'll give it that, right? And so that's just going to be some sort of gray type color. And then on the outside, you've got a not as great feeling mesh going on here. It feels kind of cheap, to be completely honest, but these shoes cost, what are these? You only have the sticker on the side. I've been noticing that with Nike things a lot lately. They've been really hit and miss with the sticker price being on the side. But either way, I know that they're not super expensive, and this kind of lines up with that. Now, moving back just a little bit more, so right here in this middle panel area, I'm not sure what exactly this material is. It feels kind of weird, honestly. It feels almost paperish. So you have that going on, though. It's got a nice little texture kind of design in there. I do like that. And then behind that, you got more of that orange mesh and this big burgundy, maroon, whatever color swoosh, and that just kind of extends all the way back. And about halfway through, you've got this extra stitching in a darker orange with some white lines going on in there, a little zigzag back and forth action. And then as you get to the very back of the shoe, down towards the bottom, what you're looking at down here, that's basically going to be what you saw in the middle section, just kind of on the back section, right? And speaking of more of that back section, you have this piece here, this little circle style thing going on, which is going to be in the same style as what you saw on the front of the shoe around the toe box. So it's going to be that felt. And this time around, it's not quite as plain because it has Nike down there in the middle, right? and it's got this little pull tab thing going on. So that pull tab thing, at first, like when I saw pictures of it, that I thought was just some, I didn't know what that was on the back, just from like the silhouette pictures. I thought it was just some random piece of something just hanging off back there, and I was like, that's weird. But now that I see this, it's not as weird, but I can still do without it though, you know? Anyways, let's go back over here to the front area and knock out these laces and whatnot. So around the laces and what, I just really noticed this, like there's a weird sort of texture on this overlay here that's wrapping around here, and I don't like it, but it is there, and it's got this sort of gridded out sort of thing going on. I don't know, say whatever you want to about it, you know, make your own opinion, don't follow mine. I'm just one person, right? Do your own thing. Anyways, down here in the middle, you got more of that felt and stuff, so that's kind of what's going on there. And then as you look at these actual laces and whatnot, the laces themselves are just going to be this flat white, I guess cotton maybe or something. I don't know, but they feel nice, I'll give it that. Plain white, nothing too crazy about it, just typical flat things, right? And then behind that, looking at the actual tongue itself, that is odd. I don't know what's going on here. It's got like this mesh lining over it, but it's got like this sort of hole thing going on behind it, right? I don't even know how to describe that. It's super soft, I'll give them that much, right? But I'm just gonna have to give you guys some pictures and you can kind of deal with that for yourself as far as descriptions go. And then at the top, you've got more of that felt type stuff going on. So you got some of the gray and some of the orange and some of the burgundy, maroon, whatever. So there's that. Now, let's jump onto the inside, see what's going on in here. Just wanted to double check, make sure these are both the same, and they are. So what you're looking at down in there is that swoosh circle thing. I don't know if they have a pinwheel. That's the word I'm looking for. The pinwheel thing. Yeah, that's what's going on. And then a lot of white, right? So let's see what the rest of this is looking like down in here. Yeah, pretty much as expected. Just what you see on the outside, but white, right? So there's that for you. And now, I believe that's everything about the visual of this shoe, so I'll hit you with some personal thoughts and then we'll move on to some sizing and whatnot. These right here, right? Now, I said before that I was not super on board with the way these looked, and I'm still not quite sure how I feel. I feel better, but still not quite like a thumbs up just yet. So this is going to be a situation where how they feel is what sways my opinion like to one side or the other, right? Because right now off the top, I like the colors. That's pretty cool, right? I don't have a lot of orange things, right? And this burgundy seems to work well on here, so that's a plus. But that's only going to take these so far, right? How these actually feel and whatnot, past the look. I mean, the price is good, right? I'll give them that. And the style that they went with here, this whole taking like an older style thing, kind of making it slightly modern, I'm usually pretty into that. It's just not every execution of it is done as well as I would like it to. So I can't say anything necessarily bad about these, but just comparing them to like other Air Maxes that I've worn in the past, I'm not sure where these are going to rank. And this piece around these laces really detracts from things, right? It worked out fine on like those, those 2021s and stuff, but I don't know, sometimes it just doesn't, you know? But I am curious, but for now, as far as personal opinions go, I'm going to say that they're okay, right? If you can get them for a price that you think is worth paying. But I would not say to run out and get a pair if you're like super curious about them. Maybe just wait until they're in stores and you can see them for yourselves, right? I think that is probably fairly accurate and mildly fair. But like I said, sizing does matter. Comfort matters, all that stuff, right? Comfort more than the sizing. But I'm going to figure that out real quick. You guys sit here, I'll be back in a second. Alright, so we're going to start with the sizing first, right? So I went with a 9.5 because my actual foot size is 9.5 and that tends to work out pretty well. So yeah, that worked out well just fine here, no problems, right? I will say, overall, this construction is a bit of a small build, right? Not like saying they run small, it's just like there's not a whole lot of room overall in this past that, right? So it's very slim all around, front to back, however you want to look at it. So take that little bit of information, do whatever you want to with it. Again, maybe watch some other videos to see if other people feel the same way. That's just something that I've felt, right? And part of that I think is with these materials here, which do feel a little restrictive. just walking around in them, they don't feel as, I don't know, they just don't feel as flexible and whatnot as other meshes that I've worn on other shoes. So that's just something that I noticed. But again, that's just me, right? But anyways, past that, they did feel like they would be mildly breathable and all that good stuff. So if you're out there all day, outside or whatever, you should feel comfortable in that way with these, right? Now, as far as like the comfort and like the midsole and all that stuff goes, I don't have anything bad to say about it, but I don't have anything great to say about it either. It's somewhere just right there in the middle, right? And so to give these a somewhat fair-ish comparison, I was thinking about like the Air Max Dawns, which right now, in this moment, as I'm saying this, I like the Dawns better than these as far as overall comfort goes, right? These, like I'm saying, they're not bad. It's just something about them, mostly because the upper just kind of brings them down a notch. But the midsole, I've got like no complaints about whatsoever, you know? The slope thing in the back, it seems to give you a lot more absorption, you know, for heel impact and whatnot if you really stress that. But to me, that means you'd have to walk a little bit awkwardly to kind of really feel that. So again, that's kind of just looking at it that's how I was looking at it, right? But you know, to each their own. I would suggest again finding a pair of these in stores before you really commit to buying them, because I don't know, it's a tough sell in some ways, but luckily they're fairly cheap, like I was saying before. But all in all, it's not a bad shoe. It's just right now I just can't really recommend it over certain other things. But it is what it is. They can't all be winners now, can they? But that's going to be about it for me as far as these here things go. And one of the other things that I wanted to mention is that these do kind of have like this weird noise in here that I was not a fan of. Like, I don't know if you can kind of hear that to some extent in there. Like, it's almost like there's some sort of weird, like stiff cardboardish type of sound going on in there. And that was a little annoying to walk around in. It probably goes away after some period of time or whatever. But that was a thing that I was not cool with. So anyways, if that wasn't audible or whatever, I'll have to slip something in at the end of the video, which I guess technically this is kind of the end of the video, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So anyways, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm going to sit here and record one more thing real quick, and then I'll get these things out into the internet and whatever over the next like couple weeks or something like that. Later, people. So again, right, with these colors, you got Kumquat, Pomegranate, Orange Tennessee, and Grenade. Like, what's really going on here? I mean, who comes up with this stuff?